Pick up on yourself, graduates. Wagwan, wagwan. What a guan. Lord, why as my come on, man, alive and people here, but my Lord. Come on now, behave yourself. Oh my goodness, really? Okay, somebody just sent me a message. Somebody, oh, what is this person? Look here. Look here, look here, look here, look here. It's a very simple fix. So we're not gonna send, we're just gonna block you. Okay? Because you never know, say, the thing did petty when Madame put up that disgraceful t-shirt that she's selling. You wanna come over to my page and give lectures. I wonder if them people really know who them are deal with. I wonder if they really and truly know who they're dealing with. Well, go on, graduates. Me so ill, no. I'm just quick and fast deal with them people, yeah. You understand? Because some of y'all are just a little bit too mouthy. Need to learn to keep your kin quiet if you don't know history. You understand? If you don't know history, you need to learn to keep your damn mouth shut. Right? So let me find this person. I mean, I like it when people just come up on my page and feel like them can just run them out anyway and disturb the flow, right? Because like it's our lumpy t-shirt I sell. You hear what me say? Right. So Caribbean in Black Charity Fest 2019 have several seats. Okay? Have several seats. Live up to your handle. What bloody handle? And this is another thing, some of you people, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're addressing. You feel you know from a Facebook name. This is how stupid some of these people are. You don't have a clue who is behind the name for you to think that you can come up with an assessment. Hmm? Go and address the many issues going on in the world. If you cannot stand the heat, exit the kitchen. It's really simple. Simple as one, two, three. We know what we're doing out here. And why didn't you go onto that page where that nonsense originated from and ask them to stop the pettiness? Because if I'm majoring in it, they're mastering in it. You hear what I said to you? And at least my pettiness pays. Because boy, the amount of t-shirts sell from money. Big up on a nice, clean self graduates, go on with a self, Remember me tell you, Anyway. Let me move on because we got so many more important things to do, right? Yes. The topic tonight is is an interesting one, and as usual, HTK has got an unpopular opinion. I mean, no say if I'm so my have to say a whole heap of people are gonna get rake up on the internet, but I saw it go. Because so we step out here with no fear. Yes, we step out here with no fear. Yes, we do. Because you cannot be on social media and not have your back broad. Right. So let me go through this. Carmen Daly, how are you doing? Bajan girl, well, go on. Power Up Life with Shelly Bling. Hello from New Jersey. Good afternoon. Stain, my members. Vanessa Grant, big up yourself. Drea 1969, how are you doing? Producer Wayne, Global TV, big up your nice, clean self. Gal so nice, good evening. And indeed, please like and share the live. Pin the message. All right. Nadine Jackson, good night. Good night. Sanika, good night. Stacy McDonald, good night. Norma Samuels Wilson, big up yourself, my darling sis. And Carrie, hi. Bro Shakawa, Guan, Faith, Juva, Hines, Carol, great evening. Big up on a nice clean self. Yeah, man. We're gonna address some things. That honestly, I don't really know how to take this, but I have seen the post. I have been seeing the post. It's been out now for it's been more than 24 hours. Social spectator, big up yourself. And everybody, I'm sure, has seen it in the planter shop. Those of you who pay attention to social media. So recently, a post was made by Trending Drama on somebody else's live where he basically asked for forgiveness of the Planketarians. And people have been responding to it. Other bloggers have been responding to it. I have deliberately not addressed it because I wanted to sit back and observe the reactions of particular key players. Yes. And I did exactly that. And having done this, I've walked away with just, several thoughts going through my head about who it is that deserves forgiveness out here in these social media streets and whether or not it's deserved or earned. You hear what I'm saying to you? Because there is a difference between the two things. Everybody comes out on social media and we all get ourselves into some kind of entanglement with other social media personalities at some point. It just happens. Sometimes it happens inadvertently, sometimes it happens deliberately. But however you take it, it happens. And it really is about how we handle such conflicts or disagreements that sets the pattern about how followers think of you, how they regard you, right? There's a whole section of social media who will look to me and say, HDK, she's very talented, she's educated, she's intelligent, blah, blah, blah. And then there's another section that will say HDK, she go like say she know everything, she speak is spoken, she thinks she nice, she thinks she this, and so on and so forth. People are gonna respond to you how they respond to you. They're gonna judge you how they're going to judge you. And really, it is for you to be brave enough, strong enough to handle that if you plan to have a social media presence. You can't be out here being weak. You cannot. Because if you start to be weak, it is at that point you need to take away yourself. You understand? If you are going to allow what every person says about you to get to you and to define who you are and to stop you from being your true, authentic self, you will never progress in social media. Never. Now, I remember I was listening to a live where apparently a comment I had made about educated people had connected with another blogger to whom the comments were not directed. And that happens a lot in social media. So the person was over there basically more or less accost me. And I say, so what you try to say, head teacher, you try to say that because me not educated, ray, what you mean by educated? And I said, I actually typed a comment because me not have no issue with this person. It had nothing to do with this person anyway. And I said, listen to me. Educated don't necessarily mean book bright, right? It really applies to people who take the lessons they learn from life and apply it with wisdom. And that is a different level of education through experience. So to me, to be educated are the opposite thereof if you're dunce. That not had nothing to do with a piece of paper because a whole heap of certified dunce walking around out there. It really has to do with how you take life lessons and you apply it to your life on a day-to-day basis to improve your previous self. If you keep making the same mistakes out here, you are a damn dunce. That is what I said. That has nothing to do with being literate or illiterate. Because I know some people like to refer to those terms and consider that to be a qualification in education if you are literate or you're illiterate. I mean, I try to tell you to say a whole heap of people out there who can read brighter than some people who have papers. Because they take what they learn in this life and they improve themselves day to day. Right? So a lot of people will judge you on the basis of what you say, not knowing the layers behind it, not knowing the meanings behind it, and so on. Are you going to take on the battle of every person that misinterprets what you say? No. Where you can correct, you correct. Where people want to run with the wrong things, you're going to have to just let them run with the wrong things. Because otherwise, you're going to spend forever out here defending yourself to people who really and truly do not matter. They don't. Because what matters is that your subscribers, your followers, your supporters get you. And that is exactly what I said. This blogger was of the opinion that I should not be doing mix up. And my response is my audience loves it. And that's all that matters. Fact. We get too caught up with what other people think of us sometimes. And I know that in a way, I suppose you can't help it because some of the things that people say out here gets personal. And this is where lines have to be drawn because some boundaries in social media have been crossed over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, several times. Now, I remember when a situation happened where Trending Drama was on his live and I heard him. He was talking about how, he was tired of the persecution, blah, blah, blah. He wanted to move on. He didn't like what happened between himself and DMG, blah, blah, blah. And me with my enough self said really and truly because I have nothing against Trending Drama. I don't. I know about his behaviors in the past. Remember, he and I have had interactions from them days. So yeah, but me move past that. To me, that's neither here nor there, right? And I said, you know what? For what it's worth, he used to be the head boy. And I know that there were things that happened that probably could have been done better. So let us try and right some wrongs out of the goodness of my heart. I made the necessary steps, said what I needed to say. Did not expect, but it happened, DMG to take me on board. She did. At that point, I had not realized how impacting my platform was, but it was. And DMG came out and she apologized. Do you remember that? Yes. Half of the internet was like, Lord Jesus, HDK will trouble the situation for, yeah, Ray, you should have never do it. Another half was like, yes, it needed to happen. You have made her a better person for it. So it go. The response afterwards was at first an apology, yeah, but it was very superficial from Trending Drama's point. He then went on a tirade with the lady's name. Under, above her, round the side, upside down, him cuss her, him drag her, yes, so drag her this up, and so on and so forth. And then the pattern was like this. 1 minute giving accolade and marmalade, next minute a cuss out and a dip up, and so on and so forth. Up, down, up, down. And yes, he did refuse to accept the apology, but he did apologize too. He did for what it was worth. But in essence, it was not consistent. There was a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, on this occasion, when we as the Plankatarians, or past Plankatarians, some are now fully graduates, some are Planka graduates, yes? When we see these kind of comments, what do? We ignore them. Because as far as the public is concerned and the supporters of DMG are concerned, there's no reason for her to respond, and there isn't. She has already responded. She has already dealt with it. That is already done and dusted. There is no repeat. There is no going back to. There is no acknowledgement. And there is nothing more to be said. Why does she need to say a thing? She doesn't need to say anything because she has said it all already. She already did the higher level thing. And I applauded her for it. I respected her for it. She showed that she was cut from a different cloth and she was capable of recognizing where she could have done something better. And she improved it and she apologized for it and she moved on. There's nothing else to acknowledge. So all those people who are expecting that this is going to be a whole revolution, you're wasting your time. There is no revolution. There is no response. There is nothing that this lady needs to do in terms of communication. So let's just draw a line under that. However, I am going to beat the devil and give the devil his due. Okay? Shaka baby said, some head too tough and can't graduate. Hey! So anyway, I went to beat the devil and give the devil his due because I am not caught, at least I'm not as caught up in these feelings as a lot of people are out here, where them need to carry enmity and anger in them belly bottom for the rest of them life. And if somebody wrong them in social media, they cannot let it go and so on and so forth, right? Okay. I know that there are some people who would definitely like to see this young man never ever gain an iota of forgiveness in this social media for as long as he breathes. I'm not interested in that. He made it very clear that his apology had nothing to do with DMG's acceptance or Planka Shop taking him in. And it was interesting because somebody put on my page that forgiveness is for the individual and not for other people. And I had to agree with that. Very true. Sometimes it really is about forgiving oneself for one's own mistakes and moving on from it. Now, in that respect, I can give the young man a thumbs up because he wants to move on from the mess, right? It does not necessarily mean everybody is going to open their arms and take him in and that he's going to regain his position as Planka Shop head boy and all of these things. None of these things might necessarily take place, right? Because it is also about looking at the relativity of damage that has been caused in the past from past actions and whether or not the damage that was incurred supersedes the current state of apology. You have got to give things time. One, to show the masses that you have in fact decided to take a new turn and do that consistently. Because remember, I had mentioned the scenario where you were 1 minute, you were accolade, next minute it was cuss. So right now, you can't blame the public for not trusting it, not believing it, and not giving it any kind of attention, right? Because there is a lack of consistency from the past. But what I have seen now is that is different. And I don't see why people are pretending as though this isn't different. Is the fact that this young man is actually going out of his way to purge his page. He's removing certain negative influences and he's doing it openly, publicly, right there, so in your face. That's different. That's different. Because by doing that, he's making sure that his page gets a fresh churn of influence, a fresh churn of people, a fresh churn of supporters. And it also increases the comfort level of people from different sides to be able to congregate and enjoy the content. Nothing is wrong with that. And I don't personally care if it's a space where at one point he's going to be celebrating you know, somebody from the camp when none of the Plancatarians no rock with. And then he's gonna go over and then start saying great things about DMG. I really don't care because that is his page. He runs it how he wants to run it. But I think that that is something that is commendable. Am I gonna skip and dance and run off into the sunset and say, "Yay, it's happened"? No, I'm not. Because is it my business? No. But it is something that I still think is a move that's positive in social media and can be seen as an example. A lot of us on here, we have got people who come on our platforms that try to control how we behave, what we do, what we say. Just like that person that came on my page with their diatribe. Right? They don't take a stand for anything unless it is something that is within their idea of what is right or wrong. Okay? Now, sometimes it is about going against the grain so that you can get to a better level. And a lot of you people who think that being non-confrontational is the way to achieve things in this life are not the movers and shakers in this world. You're not. You are the sheep. And you need to be led. Because people who change things are the people who will square up. Because if you are always silent in the face of adversity, in the face of negativity, you are compliant and complicit. And HDK is never any of that. So whoever it is that thinks that they can come onto my page and tell me, oh, you should behave this way and you should behave that. Graduates, what do I tell them? What do I tell them that they should do in traffic without socks? Kick rocks. Because that's not how I operate. There are many other pages you can go on where you can get Christian music and all the nice things, right? I've told you from day one, I'm not that. And this is how it is when you enter somebody else's page. They will run it how they see fit. If the man is restructuring his page, he's gonna run it how he sees fit. Nobody can tell him, oh, don't make people think what you think. He is going to set the tempo. And who don't like it, bite it. You understand? So if he's saying to his followers, listen, do not come over here and be disrespectful to DMG, Planka Nation, that is a win. And we surely can appreciate that. One less person riding her skirt tail or frat tail is a win. You don't have to love him up, welcome him into Planka shop, give him back in position. You don't have to do any of that. But at least say, thank God, one more person has decided to take a higher level of communication. How is that difficult? Just because of who he is, just because of whatever gripe I have personally with him in the past. And we remember say, him did nearly rinse me one time, and some of him followers was very disrespectful. He didn't, but some were. Am I going to carry that to my grave? I don't have time. I don't have time. Right? If we're saying out here that we want less people to be constantly attacking and cyberbullying the lady, right? Less people fear write her name in a negative way. More people to be celebrating her good works, lifting her up. Or at least more people going their merry way, doing their own different content and coming off her name completely. We should not act as though we are being barriers or impediments in the way of progress towards that goal. You understand? I better you just blank it, ignore it, and keep it moving. It's better you just say, you know something, I'm not even gonna look, because we don't know if this is real. And just keep it moving. That's fine. Because time will tell whether or not this is a permanent change or if it's gonna switch back. He's gonna have to go through that process because right now, I know say a lot of the people when run from him page go ride him. They're gonna because they have been giving him support all this time and it feels as though they have been betrayed. Right? And that's understandable too, I guess. But there are many other pages out there where you can, go do anything. The man has made a decision. And what I find hypocritical among some of the bloggers' discussions is that they're very quick to say, "Oh, nobody should have forgive this a person, and that person can't be trusted and rare." But interestingly, a lot of people had that same feeling around bloggers like 360, and yet you are able to forgive him. And if we were to ever be honest out here, the damage done there outweighs the damage done by trending. I've said it. But the difference, the significant difference between trending and 360 is this. That from he came out and he apologized to the lady, he has never once went back and disrespected her. Does that mean that 360 has changed completely? No. He's still very disrespectful to other people. But to her, and even I can beat the devil and give the devil its due, he has never gone back on his word. So the significant difference is one thing: consistency. Consistency in approach. If you're committed to a cause, the public will see it. And your support will equally be consistent. If you're jumping in, out, shake it all about, it never change. You understand me? Not going to change. I am not talking about whether or not the public must decide who should be forgiven or who should. It's not really about that. It's about what is out there as evidence in terms of, if we forgive you, what will your behavior be subsequently? If the public forgives you, what will you show us? What will you do with that faith that we have placed in you once we have handed it over? Is it in a safe place or is it vulnerable? So when the people don't necessarily see consistency in how you say you're going to move, they know that whatever faith they put in you will not be safe. So if they look and they say, well, all right, over there, so is still out order and he's still cuss and go out himself. But one thing is for sure, when it comes to this lady, him is consistently respectful. Then they know that the faith that they put in that situation will be secure. And this has nothing to do with HDK. I try to be gentle. I ain't trying to be gentle about crap. Because none of you can beat me. I'm just being truthful and honest about the situation. Right? I think it is about time we just call a spade a spade. And it's clear to me that China is not interested in any kind of big hoo-ha, welcome, hallelujah. He's not interested in that. He's wanting to move on. He's wanting to do other things. So let us give that opportunity for that to take place, to manifest. to start to rip it down from the get-go is exactly the kind of persecution that other people got when they claimed to say that they were changing. And I suppose because they're not having an easy time, it probably is felt that these people should not have an easy time too. And that's how it goes. So I'm not going to say that they're going to stop persecuting. It probably are going to continue because nobody had an easy time. But graduates, we are going to handle this with a touch of class. Right? And see where it is possible that we can remove that negative energy from around the lady once again. That can never be a negative thing, in my opinion. Not be a part of the negative cycle like that. Now, somebody might say, but HDK, did you missy? Fling up t-shirts. Isn't that you been a part of the negative cycle? No, it isn't, and I'll explain why. You see, right now, DMG not have no time for your focus on them foolishness there. Them something a small fry. You hear what I said to you? Them something about Bertha, Dr. Bertha, all of that. That's a foolishness. A small fry business that's big and serious. All I did was create a diversion. Because it really isn't necessary. It's a nonsense. And I'm going to say this. I want, and I'm sure Planketarians want the same, this lady to be focusing on higher level things. Getting herself sorted out in the United States of America. Getting herself settled to the point where she can evolve with her show and her program. All right? Not busy being distracted by small-scale cyberbullies like T-Dog. Yeah? She is, DMG, a macro influencer. Left that one there to the micro ones. You hear what I say to you? And let the lady carry on doing those great things. That is what we want. We want her to be so established that she can carry on with her charity and get that fully established in the United States of America. That is what we want. Right there, so. Yes? We want her to elevate, not be distracted by small fry. No. So at the end of the day, does it mean that people should be able to get away with all sorts of deviant behavior and cyberbullying out here? Huh? We all know his head teacher came first, text slanderous things and put it on t-shirts in a way that really take off. Wanna see it for yourself. DMG did it, but she did it in a different way. She used things like, positive things. Me take something blatantly negative and put it on t-shirts and sell it. You understand? So when she did that, it was my model that she was following. She was. And this woman has been stalking my page for time. For time, the way she does with everybody else. You know how much I'm a black? You know how much of our page is my black? And she's still there? Yeah? So at the end of the day, I gave her a dose of her own medicine. And I make no apologies for it. And I'm pretty certain I've sold more t-shirts in an hour than that one has sold for the entire time she started. Period. Because sometimes these people will only ever understand themselves when the ante is upped in a way them can't manage. There's no way that I'm going to allow DMG to use this to make no damn lemonade. That lemonade is not for her. Because it is not something to own or celebrate. No. Celebrate Dr. Donna Marie Gow. That was a person who was trying to tear you down using a name that doesn't fit. Right? And I know that DMG's approach is this because Ashima learned it from how to take your lemons and turn them into lemonade. But sometimes we need to be honest and truthful that these things, they're hurtful, they're disrespectful, they're low, they're damaging to brand, and it's not everything that we want her to own out here. So when that person ran with it first, I knocked it back and created a higher demand in a different way. It's really simple. And I could keep going if the person decides to play the game. Big up yourself, chocolate and vanilla. Right? So all I'm saying, Anthony, as much as that would be great, you know what? There are reasons why we don't want her to do it. And just let her be in a positive light for the rest of the time that she's doing what she's doing. It's time to leave these sure, I don't want to be disrespectful. Leave them behind. Leave them behind. Do greater things. Yes? Hey, Vanilla, I like your t-shirt. I cry over married man. No, what's the with that? I mean, to think that one self-esteem is so low that you are bawling over a married man, other people property. Eh? Or you have to shed tears over OPP. Then that makes sense. Hmm? Mighty God of Daniel, listen. There's so many more important things for people to achieve out here on social media than this. We know this. We know this. We know the petty factor. We're aware of it. I don't need anybody coming on my page to lecture me about it. I am very aware of every element and every aspect of what I'm doing. And I still stand 100% by what I do. Yes? Because trust me, if I decide to be petty Betty, it's deliberate. Hmm? But out of it will come a lesson that people will not forget. It's one thing to say that you're analyzing a situation, you're talking about whether or not you think that, this person is a scammer or whatever. People are entitled to those kind of debates. But you see, when you start to get to the point where you want to come call people out of their name and compare them to certain things, then you're going to get it back. It's really and truly simple. Yes, you're going to get it back and you're going to get it back times 10. Especially when it comes to you doing it to somebody whose likability is far greater than yours and whose track record out here is a far better virtue than yours. Yep, and everyone on the internet has proof of that balling. Does she have proof of anyone? Exactly, Venice. Exactly. Pick up yourself, Debbie. What evidence is there? Just joining and catch this part. 100% agree with. I was hoping that she doesn't do any damn skits. Exactly know your English grammar. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it really is about us seeing a bigger picture. And I know sometimes we in Lancashire, because we're very spirited people, we get caught up in the clapbacks and the yeah man and the angle that we get caught up in that. And it is a part of the flair of Lancashire because hello, we can be streets and we can be intellectual. You know what I'm saying? But not everything has to be about their level. Sometimes, as I've always said, sometimes going silent isn't a loss. It isn't a loss at all. It may look like that to other people. I said, my God, you mean say she already make her get? It's not always a loss. Be still, right? Let everything prove itself. You hear what I'm saying? Let everything prove itself. You'll be surprised how the energies, the karmas will work its way in your favor. Uh-huh. It doesn't mean that you're not seeing. It doesn't mean that you don't know. It doesn't mean that you're not aware. Right? Like, hey, teacher, can you give in milk and biscuit? Marie said, me used to get it. But in a primary school, no, my love, me not, no, no. Me not even have no Nutribon over here. I kept hearing this Bertha and couldn't understand where it was coming from. I was focusing on my search. I wasn't watching any lies. Okay. So, there's this, I'm not even gonna go into the history of Bertha, because I really don't even think it's important. The lady's name isn't that. No matter how much they try to put it on her, um, her name is Donna Marie Gow, and that's the name that we celebrate, and that's the name that we put on a pedestal to celebrate her works, not to worship her, but to celebrate her works, right? And that's the name that we know her as, and that's the name that she has attached to the title, Doctor, right? So, everybody would say, what's in a name, right? What's in a name? And I don't know if I shared this story with you guys before of one of my early migration stories. And I'm pretty certain I have, but with my original graduates. That when I was an undergraduate student, I used to do silver service waitressing as my side job while I was at uni. And I remember that one of my supervisors, she was Afrikaans. So for those of you who don't know what that means, it's a white South African. She had migrated from South Africa back to England, and she was my supervisor. And every time we were working on a job where she was the supervisor, she would call me the name of the other black girl that was in the group. There were only two of us, as the only two black girls in the group. Everybody else was white. And she used to call me that person's name, and I believe her name was Femi. So instead of going K, she'd go Femi, Femi, Femi. And at first I thought it was a mistake. And then I was like, hold on a minute. My name is Kay. And when I corrected her, she then clapped back and said, you might think you're being funny, Femi. And that is when I realized that it was deliberate. You understand? Now, I had another friend who was in the group, and she was also South African white. And I said to her, what the hell was that? She looked at me and said that this person is still very much racist from the days of apartheid. And it was a thing that the supremacists did, where they would basically give Black people any name that they felt like giving them. And they would not care what your name was. It was a way of erasing your identity. So she's basically saying you're just like any other Black African to her. Me say, don't ask me what happened afterwards, but let's just say she never came back, right? But I'm not gonna go into what happened afterwards. But once I learned what was the mentality behind it, what's in a name? An identity. What's in a name is who you are, right? And the source of that name is a part of your empowerment. It's not every name that is given that we should take. Point blank, period. It's not every name that is given from every source we should take. Because the root of that is so corrupt and so manipulative and twisted and evil. Then no matter how much you say that you're squeezing juice out of it now go very far. And not every money is good money. You understand? So don't watch whatever I decide to do. Because equally, I can shut that down tomorrow. I did it to prove a point. Yes? And yeah, I made a change. But me not have to continue it. Yes, Pottinger, that's right. That's one of the interpretations of that. Okay. So I really think that at some point we have to look at things from, where do we want to go with our support for people that we respect and hold in high esteem on social media? What do we want to do with that respect? What do we want to do in terms of creating an environment of peace, increasing the level of comfort on social media space for somebody that you admire? Is it the time for us to say, oh, you want forgiveness and you want to change? Let's knock this person back in and start to remind them about the whole of them nastiness, what them do, ray. That's exactly what you guys did. And some of you continue to do to 360. And then you turn around and you go on this platform and pretend all is well. This is what I see. I see a lot of hypocritical people doing that. And I see them on other platforms that tear him down, said we. You understand? But then they go on his page, and then when he's talking, them kiki, and then them go on another page and say, boy, I can't forgive him. So I'm saying if you can do this and you can forgive that, then you can forgive there, but you don't have to embrace. You can simply move on and keep it moving. Watch from a distance, observe from a distance, see how it go. How harmful can that be? It can be harmful, right? It cannot be harmful at all. And I think sometimes we fight unnecessary battles, don't need to be fought. And, we go on the people and page and we start mass reporting and stuff like that. And I don't really see what that for. But I really like to know is when to do so. Forget people live interrupted. What are you choosing? Because I don't even do them things. Yes, and just make people live and let them live, right? Um, And don't make it into such a big, oh my God, him there wait pan DMG for no, come on. You're giving God status to the person that you claim to say isn't God. I don't understand this response. If him said that him sorry and him say him want forgiveness and right, it is really up to the people to see that consistency and in the change for them to make up their mind, is what I'm saying. Right? And if we see as bloggers, for somebody that we celebrate, we seeing less enmity, less aggression around the lady, that is a win. It's not a loss. So we can keep it moving. You understand? Anyway, you don't know HDK and I come from a long talking, but come and say what I have to say. I never go about business. Let me go through some of these comments before I go. Make sure that you guys like up the live, all right, before on the exit class. But in the meantime, let me read some of these things because I don't want people to think that I'm ignoring you. Sometimes when I'm up on a road, I just talk and talk and talk. People must not beg for forgiveness. Just do the right thing and move on. Some of them beg. Denise, I don't agree with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with begging for forgiveness. A lot of people have done that. And if you were to look at your Bible history, it has happened in the Bible too. Begging for forgiveness is a form of humility and meekness. So nothing is wrong with that at all. Just like how you can go on your knees and beg God to forgive you, you can beg for forgiveness. You can. Nothing is wrong with it, right? Just different people do things differently. You hear what I'm saying? No one in New York City is going to support that madness. Listen, she could have get support till she fool me. No, me get Wally. I'm saying, as Azidana is a forgiving person. She already forgive him. And yes, exactly, Antonia. She has. She has. That's why I said there's nothing for her to say. I remember her apologies. He threw it back in her face. All he has to do is accept that and move on. Bam. Knowing how soft-hearted she is, she might do it again. She better not. All we have to come out and come beat her. All of the black and never gonna run out and beat her. She don't need to say nothing else. Um, need to put out a t-shirt named Bertha. Yes. The lady is implicated herself and doesn't realize it. That part, Venice. That part, exactly. That part, you know. I think the door is closed for that person. The lady already moved on. I don't think any of us are in a position to say what door is closed for DMG or not. It is her choice, right? Because a lot of you didn't think that the door would ever be open for 360, and it was. So I don't think we're in any position to say the choice is hers. I don't want her to put any Bertha on t-shirt. I agree, Sandy. Um, uh, if I know Donna, she going to do this t-shirt in that name, especially if her daughter tell her mommy there's a t-shirt with that name. Bertha is a powerful meaning. Well, she could do the Bertha meaning one, yes, because that is a different Bertha to what them are what them depend. You understand? Um, everyone internet proof of that balling. I read that one already. Oh my goodness. Let me see what else I missed. With the scamming, they know that they're lying. I've been donated to Donna from 2019. Never one day have any bad experience. Donna is so honest. Oh my God, best charity ever. The hater them know that Donna is honest. She is very honest. I've never had a problem donating. It has never been an issue. Um, I don't watch none of the haters. I don't know how real plankers watch their lives to give them views. If you're a real planker, you don't go over to the hater and lives to give them views. Yeah, that is true. Leave that to the bloggers. We go everywhere. It is very much a part of everything. I hold this, right? Jesus, that is sitting there still in the place. I come up and down on my page. Get over it. Okay? I'm not the only person that reported your page. Because you are a blasted miscreant, right? Everybody run you. Get over it. Um, so she said she's not making t-shirt. That's it. I don't know how some people say they love DMG and listen to these haters tearing her down so badly. My heart could not give me to do so. She's so apologies for not working. Leave the demons. Right? That is it. Okay, thanks, Bam Bam. Yeah, I just realized them always end up themselves. Don't know when they're not welcome and not invited. Honestly, I don't understand why somebody. And this is the thing. There are people on the internet that are just obsessive. Obsessive, cannot move on, stuck in the mud, stagnant and foolish. Right? And these are the people that I call dunce. These are the people, the ones them that go in a circle, persistently doing the same thing with no progress, no advancement. That is exactly the kind of mentality that I call dunce. It don't have nothing to do with whether or not you have a certificate or you've got a degree or you've got anything like that, right? Foolish mentality. Foolish is as foolish does. Yes, those ones. And they're all bred from the same crew and the same corner of social media. They all belong together. And that is a fact. Put them all in one barrel and roll them down one hill. And nobody will miss you. Anyway, big up on the nice queen self. I'll talk to you guys later. This is your girl. Hey, Teacher K. Bye bye.